Hi there, and welcome to an unexpected episode of Call to Cinema. But we are looking tonight at the umbrella releases that I got just recently. Well, when I say by just recently, I mean they showed up into my mailbox today, and I did not expect it. Also, we are going to have a live discussion about Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022 because it's been very divisive, and I did put up my review a while back, and I've got to watch it around 2 more times since then to just to pretty much see what I thought if it was like if my thoughts stayed the same. I have 4 new umbrella releases here today. We got some label stuff. Hey there, Chris. Welcome, man. Did I tag you? If I didn't, I apologize. I just got off work and I was trying to do my tags as quickly as possible. And I always mess up when it comes to Twitter tags. I should have a list or like something. Twitter should let you do a list where you can just basically blanket tag the same people all the time. And you can like edit it. But you can't even edit Twitter, right? So, all right. So we have 4 titles here. We have a Beyond Genres release. We have a Films of Fury release. We have an Ozploitation release, and we have a Sunburnt Screens release. So we're covering the entire gambit of bases when it comes to Umbrella Entertainment. There's a film here which I have not seen 100% for sure. I know that. And there are other films in here that I have seen, and I can actually kind of talk about them almost immediately because we'll get into the features, we'll look at the bonus stuff, the covers, all that type of stuff. So thank you for coming in. If you saw this and kind of noticed it was kind of last minute, if there's someone that I forgot to tag that then let them know that I'm gone live, and we'll see what we can do. You guys let me know if you've seen any of these movies, if you're going to pick any of these up, because there's some really good releases here, some really good stuff. And I did not get a customs claim this time, so yay for that, right? So we'll start off the Sunburnt Screens one. This is definitely the most unique one. I don't think I've heard of this film before. It's by Donald Crombie, and it's got Imogene Annesley in it. So if anybody has seen this, let me know, because I'm actually really intrigued by this, because the title was definitely unusual, but the plot was very intriguing, actually. And that is a movie by the name of Playing. Hey there, Morgan. Welcome. Do you know this movie, by the way? Because I do not. Playing Beady Bo. So, sounds like an odd title, right? Listen to the plot, though. Actually, it's not too bad. So, Abigail Kirk was an ordinary enough 16-year-old girl growing up in Sydney, 1986. An intriguing chain of events finds Abigail through some eerie time shift transported back 100 years after watching some children play a scary game called Beady Bo. Confused and lost, all Abigail knew for sure was that Beady Bo's family wouldn't let her go home. Why not? Why did he call her the stranger? What was the gift they were all talking about in whispers? So cool. It's got an interview with one of the actors from it, Peter Phelps, interview with the cinematographer Gordon Simpson, and newly restored theatrical trailer. So feature-wise, not a ton, but it looks really cool. The mysterious game that led to an adventure and love as she traveled through time. So you open it up. On the inside, there's the disc right here. And here is the interior art. I guess this is one you can switch around to. As you can see, some people don't like these here labels on there. Like they're not labels, they're actually on the disc themselves, on the paper themselves. But you can actually go around to a virgin cover, which is actually kind of cool. Different one, isn't it? Also, I have, because I don't have the Criterion edition, but I used to have a DVD of this one, so I'm kind of glad to upgrade this one. I really like the film, is Pan's Labyrinth. I love the covers, these slip covers that they do for Beyond Genres. Just look at this. This is bloody brilliant. Now, as always, features on here. We got a 2007 out of commentary with Del Toro. We got The Power of Myth, Afan y las Hados, The Color and the Shape, storyboards and thumbnail comparisons, VFX plate compare, Del Toro and the Green Fairy, Director's Notebook, The Melody Echoes the Fairy Tale, Mercedes Lullaby, prequel comics, UK and US trailers. Hey there, Vanessa, welcome. But I got to show you this. Have you seen this? Because holy crap, it sounds good. So when you open this up, and upside down. We can see the cover here with basically virgin cover, no titles, and probably the more recognizable cover there on the back. There's a picture from the film on the inside, and right here is the disc itself. I gotta say, super stoked about this. I did not expect these to come today. I was literally thought, okay, there's no reason for me to go to the mail, or I can. So I waited until maybe like 12 or 1 o'clock to go and look in my mailbox, and bam, everything was there. It's about time travel, Vanessa, and a mysterious stranger. So I think you like it. We got Fists of Fury, which is the second in the Films of Fury series that they're doing. This is Films of Fury number 2. I did make a note last time that when I showed off the first Films of Fury, that now's a good time to get in because they're starting off with Bruce Lee, and who knows where they're going to go to from there. But it's a great start to the to the series. They have great artwork on the inside as well. So we got the Fists of Fury right here, and on the back we have the Japanese poster, the Asian market. And on the inside, there is, again, a postcard for Fists of Fury. All of these here come with the postcard, by the way. The Fists of Fury disc right here. I love this, by the way. Interior art. Feature-wise on here, because I forgot to mention that, and the features are actually really good on this. Because I remember the last time they had a documentary on Bruce Lee. So this one here also has another documentary on Bruce Lee. So we got a feature documentary, Bruce Lee the Legend, interview with Yan Hua, interview with Yan Nomahara. I'm going to butcher these names, I apologize, guys. Norma Mayo and Riki Hashimoto, alternate opening, alternate ending, stills gallery, and trailers. So super stoked about this one here. And the fourth one is an exploitation one. I left this one for last because it has a ton of features on it, and it's even got a bonus on it here that you're gonna like before we get into. And this is Death Cheaters. So a few years back, Man from Hong Kong was put on Blu-ray. At the time, we're gauging the interest. I think of the new Man from Hong Kong was going to be popular, but they put a bunch of like other films on, almost as a bonus onto, I think, on a DVD or a second Blu-ray disc. But they were put on like unremastered, and that so they decided to put all those movies out remastered and on their own discs now under the Exploitation Classics collection. So this is the last one that I needed to complete what was on the other one. This is Death Cheaters. So again, Grant Page is definitely going to be this one here. Hey there, Dave. Welcome, man. Because Grant Page is in these. If it's an Australian movie with a ton of like fighting, like sequences, stunts, yeah, it's Grant Page is there. So feature-wise on here, because this is a new 4K restoration of the film. So we got a 16-page comic book. I'll show you guys that in a second, from Derek Oz. New extended, not quite Hollywood interviews with Brian Trenchard Smith, Grant Page, John Seal. New Remembering Death Cheaters, audio interview with executive producer Richard Brennan. New linear notes from director Brian Trenchard Smith. 2008 commentary with director Brian Trenchard Smith, executive producer Richard Brennan, and cast member Margaret Trenchard Smith, Brian Trenchard Smith trailer reel, theatrical trailer, bonus feature, Danger Freaks, the ultimate stunt documentary, directed by Brian Trenchard Smith. So this is loaded with features. If you like stunts, then you're going to be into this. So starring John Hargraves as Steve Hall and the incomparable Grant Page as Rodney Cann. On the inside of this, first thing we get is this here comic book, which of course will have some more cool like stunts done by Grant Page and the guys. It's set up by Derek Oz. They're 16-page comic books. The last one was in Man from Hong Kong, I think. No, I think it was in Sorcery. Sorcery, right? Unless it's a band Sorcery. Was it a man from Icon? I know we had one in the band, in the one with the band. Oh, and also in here, here is the disc for the film, and here are the linear notes. This goes old school and goes back. Remember back in the days of VHS when you have like your Anchor Bay like clamshell cases, and on the inside you'd look in and there'd be these like there'd be a write up. So they went old school and kind of digging that. So I'll be doing reviews for these down the road. I'll do my reviewed and ranked in a unique way, like I've been doing them recently. Last time I think I had 8 umbrella titles that I looked at on here. So the lucky things, I've seen a few of these here, so I can go right into special features on some. I watch like the films, but I can go into special features first because I don't need to have anything spoiled for me, except for the BD Bow one. That one really intrigues me. I've never heard of it before, and if it's anything like a Malcolm or any of those style, I'm really gonna like it. All right. With that being said, and my back on literal fire right now from a day of lifting stuff. Question. Because I'm guessing like half you came in here because of the umbrella thing, and the rest you came in here because Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022 is in the title. Hey there, Mike. Welcome, man. And I recently watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022. Oh, nice, Vince. I am so jealous. I had to cancel my Alligator 4K. Unfortunately, I had it as a birthday present, but times were tight, so I kind of tightened the ship a bit. So here are the 4 umbrella titles that I got, and am so stoked. Sleep over the road. Careful driving there, Justin. I guess I have not gotten a bad umbrella title yet. Nothing's ever been something that I haven't liked. Has everybody here seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre by now? Because we're going to chat. It's been super divisive online. And I figured it's worth talking about. Well, I did a review on here. Not a live review. I did like a pre-tape review. And I've been gone for a bit. I've actually been doing some things. It's been super busy here. So greatest hits box set. Which one? You mean I had the old DVD one, Mike, but I didn't have the Criterion one. Are you going to watch it, Justin? Morgan, you haven't seen? I'm surprised. So I'm going to try not to go too much into spoilers here, but I do want to talk a little bit about the film. And I want to talk about the reaction about the film, or why we can't have nice things in 2022. All right, so the person never saw the film. The mask, there's a specific reason, Justin, that the mask looks the way that it does. So when I initially saw the mask, I was a bit underwhelmed. I was like, I'm not quite sure how I feel about the mask. There's been very few times in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre films when the mask has a serious significance to the film itself. Most of the time, it's literally been, just the mask that he puts on. In some of them, in actuality, in some of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies, Leatherface takes a backseat to pretty much everyone. I'm looking at you, Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation, because as much as I like Matthew McConaughey's performance in that movie, Leatherface, and it's of no slight on the actor, he's a non-entity in the film. Not the case in the new one. So, first to get some the serious positives, in there, I can say for anybody that's seen it or haven't seen it, this is a beautifully shot film. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022 is gorgeous. Some of these sequences, sequence shot in the, especially the sunflower, the field, like the kind of the dead sunflowers. There's the just the way that the rain is done. The movie overall is incredibly well shot. If anybody tells you anything else when it comes to that, immediately negate their review. Like you can have differing opinions on whether you like the movie or not. Bar none, this is exquisitely shot, and that's one thing I can say right now. The score is really good as well. The score for this film is pretty fantastic. Like through me, see, that's where I differ. I wasn't big on the. I'm one of the few, Justin, that wasn't big into the remake, and I think part of it is because there's two reasons actually, and some movies do this a lot, and basically is that here's the thing. In the remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, aside from the fact that I really, really got a beef against Andrew Bransky for what he said about Gunnar Hansen, yeah, that really pissed me off. Everybody has to make they cannot make a good decision or a smart decision and the movie work. In anything that happens within the film, like in the remake, like the old 2003 one, can only happen because they've been the stupidest people possible. Now that happens in a lot of horror films, but Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it happens in a lot of them actually. But and this one here, it's not too bad. It flips the switch a lot, and it flips the script. People went into this movie expecting a very specific narrative to happen, and they didn't get it on both sides of the fence. So, I'm not going to talk politics because I don't like to, but on both sides of the fence, there was some anger before the film even came out because people had certain expectations that it was going to push this or push that. And hey, the River Welcome. They're all wrong. Every one of them was wrong. I was wrong. Because when I saw the film, I was like, yeah, this really isn't taking any serious stances anywhere. See, we've gotten good. Here's the thing. When it comes to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise, I'm going to be bluntly honest with you here. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1974 is a near perfect film. There are a lot of franchises that are out there, Friday the 13th, Halloween, that can have sequels that can get up to being close to and sometimes surpassing the original film. I'm looking at you, Friday the 13th. I don't think we're ever going to get that from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It'll be like asking them to do a sequel to Citizen Kane and reach that level. We don't have to reach that level with a sequel, especially 9 sequels. This is the 9th sequel, guys. This is the 9th film. And Texas Chainsaw Massacre's timeline is about as fractured as Halloween's. Now, that being said, that's no excuse for a movie to be bad. But is this movie bad? No, it's not. I've watched it around 3 times now. Are there things that I don't like about the film? Third Leatherface. If you're talking about the like number 3 in the series, Leatherface with Kate Hodge, I'm 100% in agreement with you, Mike. And if you are and you haven't seen the new one, recommend the new one because I think you're going to like it. This is a slasher film. It really is. This Leatherface is brutal. It is the goriest Leatherface movie you're ever going to see. Some people are going to go out there and going to say, well, there's some CGI blood. There's some CGI blood, but there is a ton of practical effects in this movie and practical stunts as well. And you can tell. Does like the little places where they had to put in some CGI blood, does it hurt the film? No. Could I have done without it? Sure. But is it something that distracts away from the film as, oh no, I can't watch this film? Not at all. The cast. Overall, the cast is pretty damn good. People that you think are going to be the likable people really aren't. And if you really think about it, there's not a lot of likable protagonists in any of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre films. Really, just go through them. Think back. Was Franklin likable? Was most of the cast in the original likable? Aside from Marilyn Burns, and we didn't really get to know her that much. Jessica Biel, she's pretty likable, but she's also the reason that all of her friends gets killed. Um, Kate Hodge is fun. Renee Zellweger, this character is funny, but I'm not sure if I would say she was the most likable character. Now there is a likable character, actually a couple in this film, and one of them is really, really going to surprise you because you go into this film and there's this guy, and it's Texas, and he's got a gun and he's carrying it, and you automatically think this is either the Hitcher character of this film, or this character is going to be portrayed as a complete ass. He's going to be like, he's got a big truck and it like there's fumes coming out of it, and he's got his guns. So you think, oh, this guy is going to be the biggest jerk, right? No, actually, he's one of the most likable characters in the film. And he's portrayed as so. It's not like, oh, you kind of like him despite yourself. No, he's actually a likable character. It goes a long way to saying appearances can be pretty deceiving. And really, if there's any, hey, they're saying welcome. If there's anything that's pushed as a narrative in this one, it's that appearances can be deceiving. Don't automatically assume. What do you think of it, Saint? Because you can't in this film. You really can't assume. There are some great performances in this film, and there are some okay performances in this film. There's a really, really good, really tense scene with a specific character under a house, and I think the part that was shown in the trailer, so I'm not really giving away anything there. Leatherface is smarter. Hey, Miller, welcome, man. Nice. Leatherface is shown as still simplistic, but smarter in this one than he has been in the other films. Definitely check it out, Jake. I think you'll like it. People are calling it. There's some people calling it the worst. That is true. I wouldn't call them fans though. I would say that's the same type of people that are on to certain forum sites that you know about, that just like to go in and just like complain immediately. Now you don't have to like you don't have to agree with me on like the film or anything like that. It is very short, and that's another thing that I liked about it. I come from the era. I'm look at this beard. I'm older. I come from the era of the 80s. I come from when movies were like 80, 90 minutes long. You got your exploitation movies. You got what you wanted. You got out and you had a good time. The slasher era from 1982 to 1983. Then the kind of comeback in 1984. See, I thought it was interesting, but it's interesting you say that. But that's the thing. To each his own. I will say right now, it doesn't have the strongest storyline of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre films. But it doesn't need it because it's that short. It's one day. Like literally, this film takes place in one day. So this isn't like a Halloween 2018 or something like that, where it's taking place over a few nights, or where we're learning about these characters, or there's this deep kind of rooted like bring into the character. Yeah, everything nowadays is either the worst or the best, and you can't always be the worst or the best. Sometimes you're middle of the road. Sometimes you're okay. Sometimes you're good. Sometimes you're not so good. But everybody likes to have a list now where they basically put a movie there. Oh, this is the greatest movie of all time. How many times have you gone online and seen this movie everybody's talking about this Netflix film. Everybody hates this Netflix film. Everybody's scared about this Netflix film. Everybody's watching Squid Games. Put your Netflix show or movie in there. It was good. It was decent. I mean, it's gory. If you want the very first film in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise to have a massacre in it, to have the title actually mean what it is, this is it. This is the first film that you're going to get an actual massacre in. And it's the exact, if you've seen one of the trailers, it's exactly the scene that you think it's going to be. And it goes on a bit because people like hyperbole. Uh, man, let's not say that. And if it is so, man, honestly, totally that's what we should be talking about. Um, people like buzzwords. It's there's so many like places online. Like remember BuzzFeed? That's still a thing, right? Uh, or you get like those Watch Mojo, right? And you get like the top 10 list. Everybody loves to be part of like of doing the list of, well, this is the best, this is the worst. It's online. People get dramatic. I probably do too at points. Um, but it's not the best film in the series. It's not the worst film in the series. For me, it's definitely higher up in the franchise. If you've seen my video where I did a review of it, but there's a lot like that. Like I didn't like the remake either. Jake, we're on the same page when it comes to the remake. Uh, but so maybe give it a shot if you don't like the remake. But at the end of the day, you don't have to. That's the thing. Whether I watch it or you watch it or not, people are going to watch it. And there's a lot of people that are going to be, as long as they're talking about it. Now, I don't want it to all be negative. Like we had negativity when it came to the Friday. Remember Friday 13th when the remake that came out? Oh my God, did people go nuts on that? Well, this is not the quality of Hooper's films. Like it's definitely not that. Though it is. You hear people using the word woke in their review. I'm going to give you advice, Justin. I'm going to give you some good advice right now. If you ever look at a review from somebody and the word woke comes up anywhere in that review, that's no longer a review. That person is pushing a specific narrative, and for me, the second I hear words like that, it negates the rest of it. I won't read on or I won't watch on. So it's kind of the opposite of that, though, Justin. Just so you know. Oh yeah, like this one here, because this movie. Oh, here's the thing, Jake. This movie has a cast that's a diverse cast. So people automatically assumed that whatever woke, quote unquote, was going to be a thing in here. Those people look like idiots now because it's the exact opposite of what the branded or termed it to be even before they saw the film. Because there are people out there, Jake, that watched this movie, that didn't watch, that watched the trailer, read the description of the movie, didn't watch the damn thing, and they said, "Oh, that's going to be woke. I'm not watching that." In all honesty, those people kind of suck. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. If you're going to do a review on a film, and I want to care about your opinion, tell me about the film. Tell me about the plot. Tell me about the characters. Tell me about the cinematography, about the sound. Because, like, to be bluntly honest, there's a reason I don't talk politics on my channel. I don't give a shit about what some reviewer thinks about, like, what they think the message is or isn't in the film. I don't care. Like, yeah, I mean, it's the sign of a bad review. So I apologize if there's anybody here that watches this and you've done this in your reviews. I'm going to tell you now, don't. It doesn't come off across like you think it's going to come across. But no, it's not. I mean, like the gun guy is a hero in this film. The guy with the guy with the gun, the open carry guy with the gun. The guy has a bunch of big guns. You know what? Not the bad guy. Actually, one of the most level-headed people in the film is the gun guy. One of the most jerky people in the film is one of the guys that you think that you would went in like thinking, okay, look, they're going to be also they're going to push this. Then no, they don't actually. I'm gonna. It's very different. So those people have not watched the film, or if they did, then I really want to. Yeah, it's like not. No, I was going to say I really want to have a conversation. I don't. I really don't. But no, like it's an okay film. It's not. I mean, I really enjoyed it for what it was. Now that being said, is this Texas Chainsaw Massacre? No, it's not. It's not like at that level. It's not the 19s. You can't be like at that level. I'm sorry. There's very few films. I don't care what your friend at the best of their day that are as good as Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1974. Very few. No, another good 1974 film, Black Christmas, which is my favorite film of all time. 74, a good year in cinema. I'll tell you that much right now. Birds of Prey was fun, man. Actually, I had a lot of fun with that. Like, it was a cheesy popcorn film. That's what's supposed to be, right? Never connected with any of the TCM films. I say give them a chance again, especially the first one. Second one is, like, here's the thing. The first one is, for me, was scary as hell. And I'll be honest, until I actually met Gunnar Hansen, I was still really scared of that film. Like meeting him, like it kind of alleviated that terrifying monster that I'd seen all those years. He was a huge teddy bear of a guy. And rest in peace, man. But the first one's really good. I did really enjoy the second one for what it was. But when I first saw the second one years ago, I hated it. I did. I really did enjoy it. I thought it was a good film. It's not gonna like change the world, but it's a fun gore fest that is beautifully shot. Oh my god! Like you don't expect this type of cinematography from this style of film, and that's not saying anything against the film. I like the film, but that being said, there's a lot of like kind of slasher films and stuff like that I like. Richard, but I don't literally usually expect that. I expect them to be decently shot or like competently shot. This was more than competently shot. This was a very beautiful looking film. It is a gorgeous piece of cinema. Like whether like people like the plot or not of the film, that's not something that you can. That's not something people can argue. It's a gorgeously shot. It's well scored. That I really love about the film. And I'm going to go out there. I'm going to say this right now. Mark Burnham is one of the best Leatherfaces of all time. Right up there. I mean, like he's up next to Gunner for me because he gets it. We have a Leatherface that we get to know a bit about in an unusually different way. We get to see Leatherface not in beast mode. We get to see Leatherface just as this kind of like lumbering, what seems just a lumbering hawking giant. We get to see the Leatherface sad and we almost feel bad for Leatherface in a portion of this film. And yet he can take that and he can turn that pathos and move it around and be the most terrifying freaking Leatherface. Because this is the time. Leatherface is scary in this movie. Leatherface is scary. Leatherface will tug at your heartstrings in a sequence, and anybody that's seen it knows exactly what I'm talking about. Leatherface will also be terrifying in this film. He will be a beast in this movie. He will trick you. He will trick he will trick the people in the film. There's this beautiful sequence, and I don't want to give away too much, but there's a sequence where a character in the film is trying to get away from Leatherface. So she's hiding, and she eventually is trying to get like kind of sort of sneak up, get a jump on Leatherface, and she goes towards the sound of the chainsaw because she hears the chainsaw. And what happens next is actually kind of brilliant. And you know what I'm talking about, Richard. You know what I'm talking about. guys, because I was so impressed with that sequence of the film. So very impressed. This is again the most brutal film that you're going to see of any of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre films. Some people use that as a negative against it. Some people said, well, the first film like actually wasn't that bloody, so they didn't get it by making it really bloody. Oh no, they got it all right. It's just that this is 2022. The bloodless Leatherface, or the very low blood Leatherface that we could have with Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1974, couldn't be done even a few years later when Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 was done. Right? It's there's some sequences there like that. I hope we get a sequel. Actually, saying I really do, because I think they can go farther with this, and I think we can bring family members in. But it's very much like one of the complaints people have is this is very much a Jason Voorhees type when it comes to this, and like he's kind of like a more of an unstoppable character. So to address that, if you watched all the Texas Chainsaw Massacre films, like all the ones in the series, it's kind of what Leatherface does. Not just him, but like members of his family. They're nigh unstoppable. Chop Top, like well, Nubbins, we know he gets stopped, but they are, that's the thing of the. Hey there, Alan. Welcome, man. Hey there, John. It's the thing of the horror villain. They keep coming back. Does he survive things that normal people wouldn't survive? Of course he does. It's a freaking movie. Like, it's a movie. Like, don't go into like Texas Chainsaw Massacre #9, by the way, expecting there to be like, oh, like I don't know. Hey there, George. Welcome. Hey, George. If there's gonna be, will this be super logical? will this have a gigantic plot? You don't lose what makes Leatherface special in this one. That's one of the things that I can say, Jake. This is probably the closest we've gotten in a long time to seeing a more fleshed out Leatherface, like done well. Like it was tried in Texas Chainsaw 3D. I like that. I've got sentimental reasons for that movie. I know it's not a perfect film. It was kind of tried in the movie Leatherface, like not part 3, but in the prequel Leatherface, and I think that one failed with what it did. But I will say right now, Leatherface, the actor that plays Leatherface, is 100% one of the best parts of this movie. He is so good. He is so good in the role. Like if you have any like thoughts on like whether you need to watch this movie or not, and you want to look, man, I'm not sure this. I think it'll get a release. Like Netflix doesn't normally do like a lot of releases on different things, but where this has kind of built in like money right there with franchise, he's got a few, Justin. Same as Michael Myers, right? He's definitely got a few of them by now. Well, actually, no, he doesn't, does he? When we really think about it, maybe he doesn't really have any backstories. Like maybe in the remake, because we usually come in and a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film, it's already going. Like it's like a road. It's like you're going. It's like a road story. It's like a road trip. Everyone is slightly different. There's like a slightly different family. But no, it's he really doesn't have any backstory. Like we got a backstory in the remake. I hated that backstory. They made him like disfigured and all this type of stuff. They had this like big storyline about like him being always disfigured. He might have been stolen. We're not talking about Jaws 3, but I actually really enjoyed Jaws 3. But I was done a while back, Al. I don't think Leatherface falls in that trap here. Like I get what people say about the invulnerability portion of it, but here's a character that you feel sorry for, like that can be, but he's brutal. He's a brutal character, and he has there's none of this like, oh gee, I don't think I'm going to take you out. If you're in Leatherface's way, he is going to take you out. And to be fair, not that I condone, Leatherface it's a bit of a vendetta. There's a bit of a revenge story to this that I kind of dug actually. Now, Sally Hardesty. Let's get to that. The actress that played Sally Hardesty, she was really good. She actually, for the little amount that she had to do in this film, she was good. People kept making comparisons to the Jamie Lee Curtis character from Halloween 2018. Sally Hardesty, however, is not the Jamie Lee Curtis character from 2018, although I do kind of think they probably put it in there to make it kind of similar. But then they took all the things that was in the Jamie Lee Curtis one and made it different from this one here. In fact, Sally Hardesty in this one is a Texas Ranger. Kind of makes sense, and it's a callback to Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, one that you like, Jake, because after all, Dennis Hopper, you know, her uncle, is a Texas Ranger in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Sally's become a Texas Ranger. She's not a survivalist. She's not waiting. Well, she's not like, that's not just her thing. Way, oh, yes, she definitely wants to see yeah, she wants to meet she wants to meet Leatherface again. She wants to take on Leatherface again. That being said, unlike Jamie Lee Curtis, at least in the first Halloween 2018, she pretty much knows that this is going in as for her, it's like a suicide mission. She's not in it very much. If I have like one complaint with this film is that, hey there, Dad, welcome, man. I wish that Sally would have been in this film more. I think that her character got underplayed a bit. I don't know if there's anything like any taken out scenes or anything, any more scenes that we'll see in like in kind of an uncut version on Blu-ray or 4K or something like that. But yes, that's her pretty much her thing. It's like she's a Texas Ranger, and she has a fight with Leatherface. The only way it could have been better is if she would have took out a chainsaw and been like Lefty in that way. But that's my strongest negative on this film. I actually had that. You mean the Black Maria, Alan? I got that. Is it over there? Yeah, it's over there. You can't see it, but it's over there. I had if you did look at my review, Alan, you would have known I had it because I showed it. But I agree, George. I really want to get it. I will hope it's on 4K actually. Hope you like the remake better than I did. Most people do like the remake here. I'm just one of the in the minority. I did like this one though. This was fun. I went in with low expectations for this film. Very low expectations. I seen the trailer and I got to the part where he said, "If you do anything, you're canceled." And I'm like, "Oh, it's kind of a growing thing." And then when you get to it, it pays off. It's fun. It's funny. Like there's not a lot of humor in this movie, but the humor is like that's almost a dad humor type joke. And you guys, you know my sense of humor. But yeah, Sally was probably the not that she's a weaker part, she's a weaker written part in this film. I wish there was more to the character, like there would be more with the character. I think that they personally pulled away from doing too much Sally because of the fact that of the comparison to Halloween 2018. I think because of the Halloween 2018, they pulled away from doing like too much Sally. And I understand it. Definitely made for a shorter film. It's just Camille's jeans. Hey there, Kubrick. Welcome, man. You can't deny the power of those, Jake. I saw this movie. I saw it last year. Where did we see that? Right in the driving, right, Raj? Yes. Yeah, we saw it again like recently at driving the 2018 was it? Yeah. So. Yeah, we saw like the original Friday 13th, and we thought it was going to be the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. and instead it was it was a remake, and I was very disappointed. And my cousin laughed his ass off throughout most of the film. But it was fun. It was a fun time. Really good fries there. Unfortunately, it's closed. I don't know. It shut down for good. But no, it's fun. It's a fun film. Don't go in expecting this to be the 1974 film. But can you expect it to be better than the last two that you saw? Is it better than Leatherface? Is it better than Texas Chainsaw 3D? Yes. Yes, it is. Is it better than Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation? Indubitably. Indubitably so. Much better than Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. So here's the thing: anybody that goes into this movie and comes out, if you're watching the entire franchise and says this is the worst that this franchise has given us, are you serious? Are you serious? Because I seem to remember a barely scary Leatherface in part 4. See, the Arlie Ermey one for me wasn't good, Kubrick. I didn't like that. I liked Arlie Ermey in the film. That was the best part of that film. But I'm like I said, I'm in a minority when it comes to the remake. That's one of the things I think they got back, Jake. That's one of the things I would like even if you might love it, but I like for you to watch it. It's short because from what you're saying, like watch it for the Leatherface performance because the pathos is there. I think that was on purpose. Saying Sally didn't scream. Some people mention that, like Sally didn't scream. Like in the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, she goes through hell, and she is screaming and tortured throughout the entirety of the film. Sally doesn't scream, not even once. Sally has had 40 years. I think on that night and next morning in 1974, Sally was screamed out. Sally would not ever scream again. And that's and I'm really glad you brought that up, Saint, because that's one of the things that I wanted to hopefully could take out of this is that, because I forgot to mention that Sally doesn't scream. And there's 2 movies made by 2 different directors. Now, the beginning, the prequel to the 2003 film with what's her name? Jordan, right? She looks a lot like Demi Moore anyway. That actress, much better than the remake, than the 2003 remake. Much like leagues better, oceans better. Sally doesn't scream. I may use that for a future T-shirt, Saint. Just thank you. I had it written down, like as one of my notes. But those are some things to like to take. I'm a big fan of the original film. It's in my top films. Whenever I go in to watch another Texas Chainsaw Massacre film, I try not to put it up against the original because I know it's not going to be that. It's not going to be that film. And I don't think anything can be that film. I really don't think it can be topped. But with that being said, automatically, just with that Texas Chainsaw Massacre name, you are going to look at the original film and you're going to say, okay, what about what about this compared to that film? I had to stop doing it because that really lessened my enjoyment of Texas Chainsaw Massacre films. It's 9 sequels in. Do you think we had a Hellraiser film this good 9 sequels in? We didn't have a Hellraiser film this good 6 sequels in. It's not a perfect film. No. It's not going to be the 74 film. But it's one of the better films. It's one of the better in the franchise. Are all the characters good? No, some characters are annoying. Some of the characters are like, oh, they hope to get killed. Well, guess what? They're probably going to. Is a story top notch? It's okay. It's definitely a passable story. But then it comes to the important things. Is Leatherface good? Yes. Is this one the best portrayals we've gotten with Leatherface? Yeah, it is. It really is. Even people that have been fairly negative about the film will go to their way to say Mark Burnham really, really nails Leatherface in the film. Hey there, PlayStation. Welcome, man. This movie, is this going to be like a regular straight to Netflix type of movie? No, it's gonna look gorgeous. It's going to have some shots there, some cinematography that's going to be pretty beautiful. And even a lot of the negative reviews have spoken about how well this film is shot, how well the scenes look, and how gorgeous the cinematography and the layout of the film is. Does the score work? The score works incredibly well. So, there's my thoughts. They weren't remakes, though. Only one is a remake. There's not a handful of remakes. Now, they may retread. And there's a difference between a retread and a remake of Possum. It's still 9 films. It doesn't matter how many are there. Halloween still has a bunch of films. Friday 13th still has a bunch of films. You can't negate a film like, oh no, there was some remakes. Guess what? It's still number 9. It's still number 9 in the series. So is it part 9? No, but it's still the 9th film being made. So to get a film of this quality, 9 movies in, yeah, it doesn't normally happen. 13th, the franchise. Love them. And you know what? Was I getting top quality Friday the 13th 9 movies in? I wasn't. I truly wasn't. $10 behind what? But no, there's negatives, there's positives. But if anybody tells you guys that this is the worst film in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, take it with a grain of salt. Really take that with a grain of salt. There's a reason for the mask, actually. I don't want to give it away, Jake, in case you do watch the film. But there's a very specific reason that the mask looks the way that it does, and it's done the way that it is. And I know some people haven't seen it. Alligator King Kong 7. Oh, nice. But I'll tell you this. There's a damn good reason why the mask looks and is the way that it is. They put a lot of work into this. I still think some of the script is weak. There's some weak spots in the script. But overall, it's well shot. It is well acted. There's MGF did amazing. Some people didn't like it because they felt MGF was gotten soft. I'm going to guess those people haven't watched much wrestling. But I really like that. It was smart because when he goes heel, big, he does his double turn again. It's gonna be amazing. Yeah, no, you kind of might like this, Jake. This may be one of the ones to go towards. See, here's the thing. The trailer is a bit misleading, PlayStation. Because when I saw the trailer, I mean, I looked at my cousin. I'm like, oh, I'm worried about this. It didn't know Saint. Here's the thing: people are reading way too much into into this film on either side. Like people have debates on other sides about all this type of stuff. I don't get into the cancer culture stuff or like the BS rating, that type of stuff. Was a joke in the film. Um, I don't. I mean, that's a horrible way to think about it. You're going to have a horrible time at the movies, man. Do I think you harshly criticize all new movies? I don't. I think that's a mistake we're making. I think it's really there's it's really gotten kind of sad. Um, Congratulations, by the way. people tend to people tend to hate, like to jump on the hate train now. It's either got to be the, like somebody said this early in the video. Uh, it's either got to be the best movie or the worst movie. We can't have in betweens anymore. You can't just have a movie that you enjoy. No, because nobody nobody can gets clicks on saying, well, that was an okay movie. Hey, I kind of had fun with that. Now people get clicks on going um, on jumping on a bandwagon of being like, oh, this is the worst of all time. It's the worst I've ever seen. And then you get a bunch of people like, oh yeah, you're right. That is the worst I've ever seen. Da, 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 da. Like. Or this is the best movie ever. It's the best movie, Texas Chainsaw Massacre that I've ever seen. Da, da, da. Like. It's people going for the click, going for the like, without actually taking into consideration. Do you know what? Sometimes the movies can be good. Sometimes movies can be okay. Sometimes movies could be meh. Between shame and competence? I don't think so. I mean, one, this definitely isn't an incompetent film. I mean, if you look at this film and just right at the gate, and you're going to tell me that the cinematography wasn't brilliant in this film, I'm not just going to disagree with you. I'm going to vehemently disagree with you, because the cinematography in this film is masterful. I don't care what you thought about the plot of the film. So at this point, is the score good? It's really good. Did the guy that played Leatherface do one of the best portrayals of Leatherface? Arguably, yes. Yes, he did. Script a bit weak. Yeah. Is the Sally character a bit like not in enough, slightly underwritten? Yes. Does that make the movie incompetent? Oh, hell no. But it's a movie at the end of the day. It's not meant to change the world. It's meant for you to have fun with, or not have fun with. It's okay. You don't have to like it. You don't have to agree with like my opinion. It's an opinion. It's okay. It's okay to have differing opinions. But what bothers me is the vitriol that we're seeing nowadays, whether it be from Texas Chainsaw Massacre or Star Trek or Star Wars. fandom, yeah, we can get pretty toxic at times. I grew up in a time when, it wasn't always the coolest thing to like these type of films. You'd see somebody else had a Texas Chainsaw Massacre shirt on. They had like a Friday the 13th hat, or maybe you saw like somebody that like had a Superman tattoo or something like that. And oh, there you go. It's one of my people. They kind of like some of the same stuff that I like. Because when you grew up liking a lot of this stuff, you're the weirdo, you're the strange person. You like those scary movies? Aren't those? Isn't that a little strange, a little weird? You get looked at sometimes. But we've gotten to a place where this is so mainstream. It becomes a big deal. You get like when it's coming out. But rather than kind of coming together, as a fan base, and saying, okay, I'd like this, I didn't like this. It's got to be a division. Like, oh my God, I hate this. I love this. Oh, you're stupid for hating it. You're stupid for loving it. I'm just that dude in the middle that I had fun. And that is the most Gen X fucking review you are ever going to hear. Because at the end of the day, that's what I am. I'm a Gen Xer, and that's how we think. That's usually how we think, guys. We're a chill generation. But no, if you liked it, fantastic. If you hated it, okay. That's okay. But hopefully, if you hated it, you came in here and maybe you totally disagree with me, or maybe you got something out of it anyway by just okay, oh, I never thought about that. Because I've had lots of times when people had differing opinions than me, and I'm like, oh, well, what about? And they'll say something. I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. I didn't think about that. You got to leave yourself open. So totally, is this the greatest movie of all time? No, it's not. Is this good as Texas Chainsaw? No, it's not. Is it as good as part two? No, I think the part two is pretty much a comedic masterpiece, to be honest with you. But yeah, no, this is up there. This is definitely up there with some of the other ones. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is not a great franchise when it comes to like solid films. I would say 1, 2, 3 actually, though that one has some issues. 4 starts out okay, gets weird at the end. Thank you, Ellen. But at the end of the day, guys, this is the thing. I am just happy and glad that you came in. If you hit that like button, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. You guys rock. Doesn't matter if you have the same opinion. I do like it when you guys come in, and it's okay to have differing opinions. Oh, the age was amazing. The only reason the 80s would be filled with more junk is because it was filled with more films, because it was the start of the VHS era. And at that point, there was a lot of movies coming out. But I'm an 80s kid, so I can definitely fight you on the 80s stuff. Because I know my 80s. I know my 80s well. Hey, there's CR. You came in at the end, man. But thank you for coming in. For those that didn't see, at the beginning of the video, I showed my latest umbrella acquisitions. Definitely recommended. I got Death Cheaters. This comes with a 16-page comic book and a second film called The Danger Freaks, Ultimate Stunt Documentary. Looking forward to checking that out. The number 2 in the Films of Fury, and it's Fists of Fury. This comes with a postcard and a documentary on Bruce Lee. Pan's Labyrinth, Beyond Genres edition, with a ton of features on here and some really great stuff. I'll definitely check it out. I'm a huge fan of Hammer. And Playing BD Bow, which I know nothing about, have not seen, but it's probably the one I'm most intrigued about because plot sounds really interesting. Anyway, I am Aaron. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. No, dude, Possum. No offense taken, man. This is a fairly. I'm not sure if you're new, if you were here before and I missed you, or if you're newer here. I'm a pretty chill guy. I never take offense to anything. I, in actuality, I'm just. It's this is a place that is open up for differing opinions. So it's all cool, man. To hear House Releasing Girls Night Out, I did not. Uh, no, but I'm actually excited for that. Welcome, anyway. George, Jake, Possum, CR, Mid Level Media, everybody that in case I miss a name, have a fantastic night. I hope you guys have a wonderful day there. And I will see you soon right here in the Call to Cinema. And there's always another movie, but there is only one you. So treat yourself nice and pay it forward. Be kind to others too. Talk to you later.